May the force be with you is a phrase used to wish a person well to overcome a challenge. The invitation in this podcast, May the life force be with you, is to explore what it means to truly feel alive, to appreciate the physical, emotional and spiritual connection to our energy, and finally to understand how this impacts who you are and all that you do. May this conversation inspire you to thrive. Hello and welcome to May the Life Force be with you. How are you today, Kahreela?
I'm good. I'm better than the last time we spoke, just the two of us.
I think that was the episode called The Wobble, which I actually strangely enjoyed.
I loved your coaching.
We keep it real. It was a real moment. So thank you.
After the wobble, my friends now have a name for that. They call it Kahreela's Mountain Black Hole.
That sounds interesting.
Because pre-mountain land work, that's what happens. It's now got a name.
So does that mean if we track back the episodes, whenever you were off to a mountain, you were having a wobble before each?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can follow it. Well, certainly you can follow the big Egypt wobble, where I think I got coaching as well. I think that's called Gotta Have Faith.
Oh, yes.
And then there was the pre-Shasta one, where there was a wobble as well. And then there was the great wobble.
I love it when you find a pattern.
Mountain. My friend was like, "Are you in your mountain hole?" I was like, "Yes, this is now a thing."
So now it's about smoothing out those edges, or is it, so the wobble doesn't feel extreme, or is it actually, you know what, I need to fully embrace the wobble and just give myself the space because I know it's coming. Because sometimes I feel like we try and suppress stuff too much when actually it's good to let it all out sometimes.
Well, firstly, I'm like, maybe stop pretending that you're not going to have a wobble and start, I'm like, right, before I go to Australia, which is Uluru is the next part of this project, I am not going to expect myself not to have a wobble. I'm giving the time and the space and clearing out my diary so that the wobble isn't quite so stressful, because what happened in the last wobble, so I had to cancel everything I had planned other than the podcast, which I showed up for. And I'm like, prepare for the wobble.
Wobble in the diary.
Yeah.
Wobble week.
I've got wobble in the diary. But, and I don't know if this will change it or not, but as I was looking at that pattern, and it was the wobble before Star Mountain, which in a way I already knew that the Star Mountain was going to be about the mother wound, and my mother wound is my big wound, so it's not a surprise that that particular wound opening up is always especially hard for me. And I should have been more conscious of the fact that that's the big wound for me. But what I realized, and it was like a light bulb moment to me, and it might not be for many people, but I think for some people it might be a light bulb moment for them, is I suddenly had this realization that love is calm. And I know that sounds like a really bizarre thing for somebody to be realizing, but I think if you grew up in a traumatic situation where love wasn't calm, there's a part of your shadow or a part of your inner system that believes love is drama.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that wobble, not that I was able to articulate it at the time, was in some ways the part of me that just believed that love was drama. And that's why I was going, I don't know why I'm like this. Do you see what I mean? Like, I didn't even have a reason to be crying and wobbling and stuff like that. But yeah, I like understanding that love is calm is this revelation to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's calm. Love is calm.
But I wonder in that, because you were very low. I hope you don't mind me sharing. Like you were low. You expressed everything on the podcast amazingly vulnerably, and I know you were in a hard place. Yeah, look at you now, and we're 2 weeks later, and it's like, oh, there's a shiny, bright Kahreela in front of me again, and I wonder if there's I mean, this is amazing thing of this too shall pass, which we mentioned on the podcast, right? You're always moving, and it's a message that's really important for people to hear. You're never stuck. You might feel like you are in that moment, but you are not. You are always moving somewhere, and I wonder if, because you say the mother wound opens up each time, how many times does it have to open up? And is this journey of the mountains that you're on, does it feel like it's changing each time, and does it feel like there's a completion?
I do believe that some wounds are for life. I do think my mother wound is for life. I can't imagine that my guides say some wounds are your lifetime's work, they're your life's work. And so I imagine that I'm kind of surrendered to the fact that my mother wound is my life's work. And within it holds the greatest rewards and the greatest blessings and the greatest challenges and the path and all of it. And so I think it will keep opening up. And certainly so far, the mountain journey has opened me up every time. And it's been very hard. But the rewards have been very great because you're working with mountain level, like highs and lows. You're working with the mountains. But this love is calm thing has been an amazing realization for me, because I've realized how much I wasn't self-soothing in those moments. I wasn't self-calming in those moments. And, since then I keep reminding myself, like, are you actually calm? Because if you're not calm, you're not coming through love. If you're stressed out, you're not coming through love. And so it's like giving me a new marker point to come to. And when we spoke on the podcast in the Wobble, I was really in a hole. And I think I was particularly in a hole because I couldn't, it was like my third eye had gone blind. And it was like I couldn't see the wound for the trees, like I didn't understand the wound. I was just feeling. And then my vision, after 2 days of crying, my vision came back. And the first thing I saw was that sadness is the feeling of making space, and that joy is the feeling of making energy. And I was like, okay, if I perceive this sadness as space being made, then I can stay calm with it. and the mountains require a lot of space to be made because they are bringing in, like, love is calm is one sentence, but it's a whole new way of being for me. For that part of my trauma body that learned that love, and you can ask anybody I know, that learned that love was drama. Like, love is calm isn't just one sentence, it's a whole new system of being.
And so does this mean for Uluru, it's you've already kind of got that belief now ingrained in you, and it's a different experience for Uluru, and that maybe there's a different message at this particular mountain? Because, you know, you can imagine people listening going, Kahreela, why do you keep doing this to yourself if it's so hard? Like, are you insane? You know, and it's why a lot of people don't want to kind of go there and go to places that feel difficult, because we want to feel there's some kind of resolution. We want to feel better from having gone through and relive those kind of traumatic experiences. So, you know, how do we encourage people to kind of dig deep, but also to continue if you're not feeling it at that moment?
I think it's funny, we were talking about it at the workshop I was at this weekend. And I think that, I don't know if you ever don't have to go down into what Lara Waldman calls the pit. It's like, if you want to grow, your roots have to go deeper. Just law in nature. And I think what happens is, if you go through, you know, you enter the tunnel of your own growth, and either you're going to go through it or you're going to back out of it. And if you back out of it, that's where you get stuck in your life. Whereas if you go through it, you get those deeper roots, which means you get the next level. That sadness is the making of space for more energy, for a greater level of joy. And you can probably do it less dramatically than somebody that didn't know that love was calm. You can probably do it in a calmer way than I have been doing it. But
I think just that realization of what you just said there, though, like, for anybody that's listening, I'm going to say it again, in order to grow, the roots have to go deeper. That in itself just tells you everything. And for me, like, that's like,
you can choose not to grow, and many people choose not to grow. But if you choose not to grow, you're gonna have a stagnant life. And on this show, we talk so much about the importance of moving energy, and your growth is the moving the energy of your own soul. Your soul, trust me, does not want you to live a comfortable life. Your soul wants you to have deep roots and mountain peaks and as much wisdom and feeling and energy as possible. And, you know, I would not, yes, those wobble moments are really hard. I wanted to come onto the show partly so people don't think that it's all just easy breezy when you're walking in a self-help path and you're talking a self-help talk. It's hard. And it's not easy. But I wouldn't change it because, you know, I was in that hole and I went through the tunnel because I was held by people like Fiona and other amazing people. And I think that the only way you get through the tunnel is if you can get the support, that the people to walk with you and hold you through it. And that's why coaching and courses and people that can hold space is so important, because these tunnels are scary. They are scary to the survival system. They are scary to your nervous system is your roots. Like your nervous system is your roots, yeah? It is your roots growing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't support your nervous system properly, they're not going to grow. You're going to stay where you are. Okay? And so like get as much support as you can. Invest in the coaching, invest in the courses, invest in the people that know how to hold space and can hold you. And then get through those tunnels, because on the other side of that is the more joy, more energy, more wisdom,
more calm,
power.
more calm to allow the love.
And, you know, we spent summer solstice on a giant piece of rose quartz, on a rose quartz mountain, experiencing vibrations of love that I have never felt before.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
And receiving, as my guides promised me when I was in that hole, and going, I don't want to do Start Mountain. Why are you making me do it? They were like, you are going to be flooded with so much mother's love you don't even know. and you know, this weekend I was at a workshop and somebody asked me where was the last time I felt unconditional love, and I went straight back to that mountain and that piece of rose quartz and that feeling of unconditional love that had I not opened up, I would not have been able to receive it. Had I not been held in that sadness and dropped my roots deeper and felt enough to create the space, I would not have been able to receive that new level of love. And I would not now be practicing this affirmation of love is calm and self-soothing myself, even when sometimes I'm like, ooh, don't know what's happening with that. I don't know if this is going to make money, or I don't know if I have that address. And I'm noticing that I'm going into the internal drama and going, love is calm. What happens if you come through love is calm?
But there's a great question. I will try it myself this week as well. What happens if you start from that place? Let's find out. Because you're just starting on this as well, right? So how do I bring that in?
That's what was being formed, is my love is calm route.
You have a new route.
I have a new route.
Ground.
And that, I think, you know, we have these old roots that are often rooted in trauma. That are often
and they're stuck fast.
Yeah. And how do you form new roots? I don't really know if you can form new roots without going into the pit, without going into the nervous system, without letting the nervous system really feel and move.
Well, do you know how I'm going to imagine a new route. Let's use some visualization there. So if anybody is thinking, I want to put something down that's new, maybe we start to imagine that we can grow new roots. And what do we call that root? And what does it represent? And what is the intention of this new growth that we're creating? And then just watch it grow and get stronger. And there's something, I think, really visual that I can feel in that about claiming my new route. I love that. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kahreela.
I think if anybody's lost for a route, I think a really good route is love is calm. I think that's a really, I know it sounds so simple and so obvious, but really my whole system is like, what? Love is calm. Like my whole system is like, love is calm. Because like when I was a baby, love wasn't calm. Love wasn't present. That gave me a great amount of avoidant attachment style. Love was anxious and stressed, which also gave me disorganized attachment style. Love was dramatic, which made me very dramatic. Like, love was not calm. It was everything but calm. You know, sometimes it was numb, sometimes it was under the carpet. Like, it was all sorts of things, but it wasn't ever calm. Because my parents were going through a very traumatic time.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it feels the root analogy and visualization feels very connected to the nervous system.
Yeah.
It feels
I mean, your
very
nervous
connected
system
to that.
looks like roots.
Exactly.
Your vagus nerve is the nerve that love is calm.
It feels very, very, very visually connected to that. So that's something that we can all put in our minds as a reminder every day. I wonder what else will come up as a root to grow.
And that's the thing, I think, with the growth journey and the self-help journey, is you don't stop growing.
Mm-mm.
You know, that's why you have to keep creating deeper roots. If you want to grow, if you want next levels, if you want more, then you have to keep creating new roots. Otherwise, if you don't, and this is why land work's so important collectively, if you don't, you're going to keep creating if you keep growing out of the old roots, you're going to keep getting more of the same. So the choice is yours. And if anybody knows how to do it less dramatically than me, please let us know.
I love your wisdom as always, Kahreela. Thank you for sharing that. And I look forward to post Uluru finding out what your new route is from that mountain. Whew. Stay tuned, folks. Until the next time.
May the calm be with you. We hope this conversation has topped up your life force energy. If it has, then please help us spread the life force. Like, share, subscribe, all of that. And may the life force be with all of us.